This can be edited, I guess. But what I'm looking to do today is present the fuller aspect of who I am, so that I can maybe show more clearly why and what I'm about, why I'm doing what I'm doing, which is essentially saying to young people in particular, and by that I mean, you know, under 35s really, possibly the under 40s, to get involved in your life. You know, I've been in one place long enough. Maybe that's allowed me to be still and see what's going on. But you know, it's really not okay what we've come to in this country. It's May 2017, May the 15th, and we've got the privatisation of our health taking place. Our health service, you know, there for everyone to benefit from. And some people think it's okay to just sell it, make profit and start charging us and call that government policy. Shocking. But children's services, you know, they are dismantling child protection services and making it a privatised business. I cannot comprehend how anybody, anywhere, can say that that is okay, to profit from children's pain. Now, I'm not saying that social services and the care services have been okay, because, you know, it's a bit of it's an oxymoron in some ways. It's become, you know, children in care. They're not really being cared for, are they, if they're not placed very gently, you know. As a foster carer, I know all the benefit that I can offer from one perspective, but anyway. So, but the point is that we are profiting. Somebody somewhere is making money. We've made money out of children becoming obese. We've made money out of children having dreadful teeth. We've made money out of children being apathetic. And we've made money out of children having nothing constructive to do anymore, because the youth services are being closed, the support services are being closed. We've got ever more stretched mental health services at the same time as we're sending our children out into a world they cannot make sense of, with parents who are absent because they're working to pay rent that is going to landlords, and all the time we're talking about what it's doing for us, right? Honestly, I would say people, whoever might listen or come across this particular piece, we have been children, we adults. We know that journey through experience, but the kids haven't yet been adults, and fewer of them will grow to be adults if we carry on down this path. I live in London. I think there have been 15, maybe even more children killed in the capital in recent. It's not okay. It cannot be okay. We've all got children. These are our children. And I just think it's only when we rise, when we women, when we men, when those of us who may define a third way, it doesn't matter for the purposes of child protection. It needs to be really straightforward, right? Any child over any adult, any time. Then we could at least give them a chance. But right now, the children out there, our children, are getting caught up in our chaos. They're taking punishments for our judgments, and I don't think that's okay. Call me old-fashioned as I drive past my school, where I went to school. When's that? What are we talking? I left there in '87. 30 years ago I left that place there. Still making the same journey, back, forth. But I had some standard values instilled in me. And one of those values was having care for your community. We are a community, and it's not divided by any other way than we've all got children, and all of us have been children, and so shouldn't we give the children a better chance? I think that's the end of my rant. But because I'm driving, I cannot touch any equipment, cannot even look really, I'm just talking. maybe I'll do this as a podcast instead. Shocking. Monday morning. Here's the thing. 67% of women's refuges face being closed because of the benefits cap. Because if you're on benefits and there's a cap, but the landlord's rent is higher because it's all private, refugees can't take you. How shocking is that? Women, under this government, support services for women experience sexual violence, be it domestic or outside. And domestic, that doesn't really cover it, does it? Domestic violence. Like, there is a cosy aspect to the physical, sexual, emotional, brutal assault that takes place in what should be a sanctuary. Shocking. But anyway, those services have been cut to the quick. And for the people who might ask me, why are you so caught up in this? Why do you care so much? Let me be very clear. As I look up at this picture of my late wife, my wife who died in 2015 after 5 years of trying to fight the cuts being made to the service that she was running for women who had been violated in ways that most of us couldn't even comprehend. Sexual trafficking, imagine that. Still, women who've survived all of that. The service was still cut because it is not in the interest of those who wish to make a profit, unless there's money in the misery itself, to have services that are expensive. It was expensive. Eve's was an expensive service because what it was picking up was the trauma and violation of the worst excesses of humanity. But Eve's was shut down because the monies were cut, because this government wanted to save money, because apparently everyone was in it together after the global crash, actually facilitated by the rich of America, trickles down. Gordon Brown and his lot got blamed for it. A Labour government that, you know, for the first 10 years have done amazing stuff, a bit like newborns. You know, your first 10 years of your child's life, they're gorgeous, aren't they? Then they become teenagers, and as Labour became a teenage government, and they are tricky. It's much harder to love a teenager when they start acting up and becoming independent and discovering themselves and either being really leery or not washing, all those things, right? Labour are a bit like that, you know, metaphorically, teenage government. And we got the old, and they did a dreadful, dreadful, dreadful thing going to war. Dreadful. But at what point do you forgive your family? At what point do you take your teenager back? Because you've acted in anger, and maybe you could have sat down and talked it through rather than kick them out. But upon reflection, that's easy to look at, isn't it? But we did. And now we've had 7 years. Labour in the wilderness for 7 years, and 7 years of a Tory government. And now we've got food banks, and we've got child poverty, and we've got support services for women experience rape and sexual violence closed. We've got mental health services crumbling. We've got madness, really. If you think about it, you know, the possibility that we may not have a health service available to all in our lifetime, that's an insanity. You know, but if we're going to sit around and watch X Factor and vote for Little Mix because they are apparently more important, don't forget that was round about when the condemns got in, and the people just on that, the condemns, right? It was, the clue was always in the title, right? The condemns. Conservatives and the Lib Dems got together and condemned this country, and now we've got the show. So, as I make my journey home, having done this school run this morning, kept my eyes on the wheel and appeared to be just talking to myself, no idea if any of this is even recorded, I feel a bit clearer. Each and every person, all of us matter. It's actually only because we've started to believe that we don't matter that others are actually getting away with literal and political and